Today we're going to talk about 5 hidden tips that have really helped me in my gameplay and have helped me get to rank 1 pretty consistently this year. I tried to pick out tips that you probably wouldn't find on other people's channels out there. Some secret, hidden, underappreciated tips that will really help you. I made a video already talking about 5 tips that will help anybody get better at the game. I do recommend watching that video as well here because those tips are much more general, more broad. You can go from a 4-win player in champs to a 16-win player watching that video. This video today is a lot more of like little things you can implement into your game or settings or whatever. You're probably not going to find a lot of people talking about necessarily, and these kinds of things maybe can move the needle for you. Let's just begin right now with number 1. If you guys want to buy coins, you can go to MMOXP.com. The link is in the description. Use my code JFC at checkout for a 5% discount. So tip number 1 is actually going to be a camera setting, and actually, you know, it's kind of all encompassing all camera settings because there's a couple things I want to talk about, but there's one specific camera setting I want to talk about for sure. Right now, because this game is fucked and my camera settings change like all the time. My camera settings are this. It is telebroadcast, height 20, zoom 0. Penalty area zoom is not 10. It's actually, I think it's at 0, I want to say. But the ball tracking speed is at 15. This is the main thing I want to talk about in this video today because it's either default 0 or 5 for most of you. If we go on 0 here, let's go take a look at kind of what that looks like. It's going to look probably like, honestly, default for most of you. I just messed up a pass on beginner squad battles, but you see how the tracking on the ball stays very slow, right? The camera tracks the ball quite slowly. Past the ball, the camera is like panning very, very slowly here all around. And well, I don't want that to happen. I'll talk about why here in a sec. So what I'm going to do is turn this up to 10 or 15. I have it on 10 myself, but 15 is kind of a little bit more of an extreme. I'd put it on as high as you can, as long as you don't get motion sickness, honestly. You can see it just instantly, the camera is tracking the ball a lot better right now. And if you go to 15, it's even more insane, where we'll show you a couple more passes here on 10. It tracks it really smoothly. I like it how it tracks it here. But if I go to 15, it's really insane tracking, and I did this for a little while, but I think I started to get like, I don't know. It was a little too fast for me, but see how just quick this camera is going to pan when I tiki-taka, do a little passing triangle. This camera is going as fast as the ball is going, basically, right? So why is this even a tip that's useful? For me, I changed this setting when I was just messing around with things, and I instantly improved my gameplay. And I think one of the reasons for that is it's just simply way easier on your eyes to track the ball now. Before, when the ball is, you know, moving a lot faster than the camera, you have to kind of track the ball at the same time. This is like the camera's just doing it the exact same time as the ball. But for me, it's just so much easier to like play the tiki-taka. Now I'm playing way faster than I was before for some reason because I can just see everything easier. I think that's why. There's no real like exact reason I can give you as to why it's just so much better for me. I know some pros use a very high tracking speed as well because I think it's just a lot easier on the eyes, and I'm playing so much faster, much quicker now that I have this setting on. And next tip, we actually can stay in the squad battles game for this tip. And we're going to talk about the L1 switch, because this one is one that, because in this game, the auto press is ridiculous. Switching the ball happens a lot in this game. And right here, you can see the guy comes, it's beginner squad battles, and the right wing immediately tried to challenge the left back to try and get the ball off the switch, right? This game is, it's shit. Basically, what you can do is if you hold L1 down and switch the ball at the same time, it puts more loft on it. So you can see a couple clips here of me using it in actual, like, in a FUT Champs game here. The reason that you want to pretty much hold L1 on your switches is because the opponent is basically going to be a lot less likely to intercept it. Let's see if I can get an example of like me doing a square pass. It's like really low to the ground, right? So if I want to try and see how low that Sessegnon pass was, like if that's online, that's getting intercepted no matter what. If we try the exact same thing again here, go back over here, and instead what I'm gonna do is hold L1 and press square, watch what happens. So Sessegnon goes way up in the air like that, and then it's a perfect switch. You might say, well, that tip's kind of like, how useful is that? Well, if you get better at the game, you're gonna realize that you have to switch up the play literally every time you have the ball. I'm not kidding. Every possession, you're switching up the play. It's a tip that you can use literally every possession. Yeah, I don't get intercepted now on switches of the play anymore, especially now I have Davies at left back who wins all my headers. So L1 switching is super, super underrated. It also helps the control on the other end as well. See how Carlos Alberto easily controlled that because it's right on his feet there. Same thing with Davies here, it's just more lofted. Right on his feet, right? The next tip, number 3, is going to be the croqueta pass. Now, this is going to be a move that will score you more goals every single weekend league, no doubt about it. Do the croqueta skill move, all you gotta do is just hold L1 and ball roll, and it's really that simple. But what it does is, mainly in the box, is it creates so much space for you to do anything that other skill moves just don't really do. And because of the fact that center backs and every defensive player in this game, because this game is so defensive heavy, intercept everything, This allows you to create a huge angle on a center back. As you can see, you know, there's a best clip in there, a Sessegnon clip after he scores, where they're creating such a huge angle that other moves just aren't going to do in such a quick amount of time. You watch the pros, they're croqueta passing, croqueta shot, croqueta shotting, croqueta shooting all the time. It's definitely something you're going to want to implement into your game, especially if you're an advanced player, but any level, honestly. If you can do this, you will be more advanced than like 99% of FIFA players. Number 4 is the First Touch Plus. This might seem like a random tip, because what is the point in that? There's a couple reasons I have this here. Number 1 is First Touch Plus is actually an insanely good playstyle. And even just the regular First Touch as well, the regular First Touch playstyle is insanely good. What I'd recommend is if you're struggling in this game right now, it might be because you're good at dribbling and you just can't dribble because you don't have the First Touch playstyle or the First Touch Plus playstyle on some of your cards. It's actually a game changer that I did not realize what I was missing until I packed Puskas. Once I packed Puskas and he had the First Touch Plus, I was thinking to myself like, okay, you know, it's a decent playstyle. It's nothing great. It's definitely not meta. That's what I was thinking before I started using him. And once I started using him, I connected the dots between why I love Bobby Charlton, why I love my Evolution Sessegnon, why I loved Eric Cantona. It's because they all have First Touch, and I'm able to just dribble with them. Left stick dribbling with them is so much nicer because I can dribble so quickly. It's super swift and affects the player every time they touch the ball. First Touch playstyle affects them every time you pass to them, which happens 20 times a game for every single player on your team. First Touch playstyle, super important, and if you can't dribble or you're struggling right now with dribbling or whatever, try that out and see if that helps you a lot. And tip number 5 is going to be the flick stick. Now, this is going to be one that you probably have heard about before or seen done before. It's just basically you flick the stick, your right stick, I should say, while you're dribbling, and it, you know, flicks the ball out further than it would normally. But what a lot of players make the mistake of doing is actually, there's 2 ways to do this. You can either press the R2 twice, which allows you to also push the ball forward, but the one that's actually way better is flicking the stick. The last couple of years, it was pressing R2, and that was better. This year, it's not the case. As you can see in some of these clips here, it allows for many more micro movements of the stick, like that Eusebio clip, I think it is. I move it just in the perfect little angle, and it gets him with the Rapid Plus just completely in front of the defender. And I do this on almost every single breakaway that I have with my Rapid Plus players, and I know a lot of you have Rapid Plus players as well because of Mbappe, Eusebio, 2 of the most completed SBCs of the entire year. If you have Rapid Plus in your team somewhere, you gotta start flicking your stick a lot because that allows you to outrun defenders. And, you know, last game you could actually outrun center backs. This year, you pretty much can't, and flicking the stick allows you, is basically the only way that allows you to actually do it, especially with advanced defending really helping with, you know, the catch-up mechanics almost. So make sure you are flicking the stick and not pressing R2 when you want to do the speed boost, and make sure you're doing it a lot. It doesn't even have to be with just Rapid Plus players either. You just need to make sure that any chance you have to get a rounded defender in this game, you have to take it because you don't get them very often because of how defensive that this game is. So these are kind of like cool little quick tips I wanted to make, you know, little tidbits of information, because I'll make more in-depth dribbling, passing, you know, defending tutorials in the future, but I like showing these kind of tips because not many people are going to talk about them, right? The L1 switch, I mean, who's going to really make a video on the L1 switch, right? So I like showing you for watching this video. Over soon. Peace.